the earlier season, they actually took out teams like Los and Fluxo.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a storyline right now that we are getting closer to its conclusion, where there's a universe, we make it to Point Rush. If Fluxo doesn't make it, it means that the other two teams that have bested them and put them second will be there. Pain and loss. Can you believe it?
I most definitely can believe it. Anything is possible here on the world stage. Anything is possible at the Esports World Cup. And here you go. The teams in danger. 6 of them. Red Hawks, one of them. They need a miracle for sure. Vision System just showed us what sort of a miracle they are capable of. And obviously, we want to see a little bit more from the Chilean squad. AG.AL though, at foundation. And very early gunshots here. Not so sure exactly who's aiming for their heads, but they should be pretty safe. I believe we saw a player from the side of RRQ quickly sneak away from foundation. Very sneaky from RRQ, trying to take over 2 compounds at the same time.
Yeah, it was Abai. He fired a couple of shots, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to where my team likes the most, which is Refinery, and that has always been the headquarters of RRQ. Goes actually out in the open, finds an airdrop. Bit of a lady luck to say, fortune smiles upon the boat. Pain Gaming so far have really been tearing it up.
Well, this next circle should give us a rough idea as to how the movements of the squads will go. Circle 1 still pretty balanced in the middle. Just moving down south side a tad bit more. And
Red Hawks.
The read is pretty accurate from a lot of these squads, but Red Hawks getting into a little bit of a tussle here at command post. Not the best of things to happen to the squad that needs a miracle in terms of points. And Nejad could not get away. Crime dropping down like the god of death with the M590 delivers exactly that.
I felt like Red Hawks made the wrong read. Because command post is an Onyx place to be at. They made the rotation straight in. And now Onyx are going to chase down as much Red Hawk members as they can. Kutush will be the first point of contact. Ducks away to the sub. There is a chance for them to lead Onyx into Pain Gaming, but if you are Red Hawks, you cannot be in a position where you are just running for your lives. In this case, they don't really have a choice. Kutush puts up the glue wall, but it's only a matter of time before Noki blasts through that, and Kutush will just have to fight for his life. Doesn't have the health bar to do so. 3 points for Onyx.
I had the right gun, just did not have the right timing there. That plasma gun had enough bullets in the mag to continue spraying on for days. It just didn't help the fact that the assault rifles are now doing more damage to those glue walls. Glue wall melters are very useful, but the assault rifles will bring them down in no time as well.
Zyro actually making a rotation down to the southeastern side and run straight into BRU. So that's going to be some information given over to the team. Instant revive for Onyx. Nothing much was lost in the process. Zyro opts to drop back to command post, even using the binoculars. As we turn our attention to Mammoth, that's where Red Hawks escape to. They will be near Pain Gaming as Movie Star R7 takes on Falcons.
Great recovery here for Red Hawks. The double revival will still keep them in play. R7, no Riptide Rhythm's gonna block him. The chrono popped instantaneously. Doesn't take any damage whatsoever. On fire. Backs away to the rest of his team members as Della is found. Peter with the aggression on fire though. Misses by a single second. Circles around, finds another window, calls for backup in Kororo as well. Electrotherapy on play, but it's not enough. On fire though, keep the squad in play. On the drop of the M590. And the pickup is not too troublesome at all. Falcons making quick work of Movistar.
Yeah, Games King try, he really did. Joker was able to run away to confinement. There is a vending machine there. They should have the coins to get a revive going. AG.AL not doing that well. Cypher and Barros removed from the equation as Lost now towards that lane. Actually, a bit of a ricochet. Dew able to jump away. Can they pluck him out of the skies? Dew is going to land, but General and Haone is on the case. Trying to go for a swim. That first one is going to miss. Shooting fish in the barrel. Dew makes it to dry land, but Lost continues the pursuit.
Good double glue wall, and Dew sends the response. He's got the M82B. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defense. It's Hanaral. One more shot required, and Dew missing the final opportunity. Haone stepping on out. Dew taking on 2 players at the same time, but not enough glue walls to keep him safe for long. Dew finally is sacrificed, but bought the squad enough time so the rest of them could get away.
Saved by a tree, General. Ducking behind nature to keep himself in the running. Dew going down. puts AG.AL at once more another precarious position. Sure, the revives come true, but they've lost big weaponry. Vision System, the second place finisher in the previous round, now finds themselves head-to-head with Dragons Esports, the two teams that both Gideon and Tash mentioned earlier on in the head-to-head.
Dragons not too far away from the top 12, but once again, the teams that they're going up against here in the bottom 6 are mostly from Groups A and C who are in play today. Alpha 34, the one squad that can't do much about their position. Hot shots as well. So 2 spots guaranteed. In order to make more, they need to push Fluxo out of the leaderboard here as well. And that is most definitely going to take a massive amount of points. Vision System, I wonder if this miracle play can continue for them though.
It's looking more and more possible for sure.
Yeah.
But the consequences of that would be pushing up Fluxo means that Hotshot is guaranteed to not qualify.
Oh yeah.
Because they are the next on the list, they're next on the chopping block.
I think it's pretty much guaranteed already. Hotshots are not going to be making a 2-point rush. They're just way too close to the bottom of the leaderboard. And the rest of the teams don't really need all that too much. For example, Dragons, they only need about 20 points to catch up.
Yeah, 20 points.
That's not a lot. I mean, Dragons in the previous game, massive stuff. Getting to that final circle, 6 eliminations, it's going to be more than good enough for them. They just need to do that, and they've got 4 chances to do so, right? So I'm hoping EMEA gets a shot here at Point Rush. Doesn't matter what they pull away from the Grand Finals. Seeing them there at Point Rush and Grand Finals itself is going to be absolutely fantastic.
And it gives them a chance to win the whole thing with the Champion Rush format too.
Amen.
We've seen that happen firsthand with Onyx.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Onyx, they definitely are doing slightly better than they did in their first day of match. But I think it's also fair to say that if Dragons make it through, this is going to be the first time in a grand final setting we have someone from a less mentioned region.
Yeah.
That would be historical.
Absolutely. I mean, they are pretty much the favorites at this point of time for many of them in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine after this competition, Dragons Esports finds themselves a little bit of a bigger sponsor, maybe one that has got a hub here at the Boulevard itself.
We've seen Twisted Minds pick up the roster of the current Virtus.pro last year, right? Not the greatest run, but it is a possibility.
Falcons may be taken already by this squad that we see in front of us, but Twisted Mind still waiting for a team to be worthy so they can pick one up. But Gangs King walking away. Movistar R7 in a lot of trouble. Limit. BSS in hand, got the rate of fire, and switches out to the M590 just to torch it. What a Riptide rhythm, courtesy of Limit, going 2 for 2 there.
2 for 0. So much commitment from the side of Movistar R7. You can't blame them. They needed to stay in the round, and they know that they have to play distraction. So that 2 revives early on is going to carry on the legacy of R7 in this round. But for Team Falcons, they've definitely found their mojo. 7 eliminations and counting, and confinement. Plenty of time to loot things up. The blue is closing in, but it doesn't really affect Falcons too much just yet.
Limit is super rich at this point of time. 2,900 coins in his pocket. Falcons are coin rich in case anything does go south for the squad. Finding a recovery isn't going to be that big of a problem, but finding a recovery on a map like Kalahari late game is going to be a massive issue for sure. So Falcons need to stop flirting around outside the safe zone and make it into the circle. But when they get to Bayfront, they should bump into R7 once again. RRQ, on the other hand, is sneaking around, just making good use of the lower ground. And this is a smart play from RRQ. They're anticipating for the circle to land somewhere around here, and the final circle to get to the spot where RRQ is at. The probability is extremely high.
And I do wonder what is going to be RRQ's next move, right? We saw a couple of Dinoculars. RRQ got scanned out, Red Hawks got scanned out, and now a third one on the map that we're seeing. Dragons Esports also got spotted out. Onyx just flew in. AG.AL though will be the ones that we're focusing on. It's campaign gaming against them, and sadly Barros didn't really get a chance to fight back. He tried to be the hero early on, and this time he will just be a past memory. Pain Gaming finding 2 easy pickoffs, and AG.AL I feel like we've seen this storyline before. He picks himself back up, but Dew puts down the portal, tries to go for the buffer, couldn't make it to in time. He really tried, but he just could not escape Motovia.
Yeah, no glue wall there to make a miraculous play happen for himself. A tad bit unfortunate. Had the horizon line in hand. We were about to see a miracle play courtesy of Dew. One of the best snipers in the past, just hasn't been hitting those sharp shots recently.
That will free up the path for rotation for Pain. They are pretty deep out into the circle. Another scan for the Dinoculus early on reveals where Red Hawk is. I feel like I could say it could be from Pain because that's the most direct path into the circle. If you try to circle around the northern side, then cross the refinery, it's going to take too long with the siren blaring.
Raone surely on the move, looking for Russia's #1 spot in terms of being the deadliest guy out there on the battlefield. Not too far away from getting that done. Vision system from up top. Beautiful knock onto Joker. That's not going to be enough to stop the pace of the squad. For the time being though, nobody else has got the elevation to deal with Vision system. But a couple of hook guns and a couple of jumps later, Vision system is going to be in a lot of trouble. But for the time being, the circle looks for them. Great positioning from the squad.
The biggest winner right now on the map is actually Los. They are uncontested, coming in from the northern side. And they can get a free entry if they want.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the team, it's about to get incredibly bloody. We are almost 12 minutes in, and we still have 11 full squad. And to fight at the eastern side of the refinery, a couple of structures, high-rise structures, but plenty of open ground.
We also spotted Los using the Dinoculus, managing to scan out 4 players on the side of Movistar R7, so they do know that if they make a straight beeline for the safe zone here, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble, but all thanks to the elevation that Kalahari presents. They play the cliffs to their advantage. They maintain cover as they approach the other squads. Buriram, on the other hand, one might expect them to break a leg with that fall, but once again, thanks to the hook gun, which is pretty much cheap and available for everyone. Moshi not allowing Nejat to get away. Boonjame chipping in as well. Wasana fighting Exposi. Virtus.pro back away, Buriram says.
And this is just, again, showing us how experienced BRU players are. That decision to take fire was so quick and decisive. And Moshi landing those initial shots, that is what's going to make the difference in these crucial moments. BRU now rotates forward. They're going to make a bit of detour towards the western side of the map and try to cut through from that compound, from that area. But it will put them in the crosshairs of Pain Gaming and RRQ.
Buriram has not looked dangerous in a while. Waiting for that prime time to strike, and I wonder when that would be. Onyx, the only team eliminated thus far, and Red Hawks are very close to the exact same fate. But Moshi, Wasana, both going down. Pain Gaming delivering the hurt. Motovia with the sharp shots from across. Get High desperately hanging on. Has got the M79. Needs another grenade to wreck the chances of Peter here.
Yeah, Jonah is going to try and help, but Get High has already been knocked down by Noda. And BRU once more collapsing in the hands of Pain Gaming, as they pay the price of 2 members, but at least they're still in it to win it.
Unbelievable stuff. Buriram in the 9th spot. There's a high probability they get eliminated if they keep up this slow pacing for themselves. If we don't see an aggressive version of Buriram, they are probably not going to be at point rush. But look at Lost, circling on in. Falcons in trouble, they see the team wide open. Grenade after grenade. Hararal, Howdy, dropping those nades like they hot, and Falcons dropped right when they found them.
Caught completely unaware and given a shallow burial by Lost. The Brazilian champions once more showing us the aggressiveness. Before the show even started, we saw Lost talking about their playstyle.
Yeah.
We see, we shoot, we take down, we eliminate, and we win. And that is how they won the domestic championship. Finished 4th last year on the stage, 3 out of 4 of them. And right now, they're about to make that point once more. Motovia finding Ma'al from up top, VSE with the steal.
Unbelievable stuff out of the Brazilian squads this time round. They all want blood, and they find those points behind those shots. Movistar R7 in a decent spot. Dudes wants revenge. Forced back by the circle. Can't go in there for the extra point. will focus on their own placement first. Lost on the other hand with a quick reposition. And this is absolutely smooth from the squad. Pain Gaming on the other hand loses Monobia and gets taken out in 7.
And Lost puts themselves in the circle too. They have VP and Dragon Esports to deal with, but as long as they take care of teams like Movies like R7, they can stand there forever because Dragon Esports are also preoccupied. Like shooting free target. Welcome to the firing range of Dragon Esports. VSE and RQ having a tough time dealing with this team from the Middle East as Lost locks in their 15-point and counting.
Again, you see Dragon Esports in the top 3, making the top 2, going up against the top dogs of Brazil. Dragon Esports, I don't care, even if they don't walk away with the victory over Lost here, they're winning my heart for sure.
Haone with the grenade.
Down on the ground, Rahone is going to finish this off all with the grenade launcher.
Seafolk does get a trade onto Rigby, but again, you need confirmation. Rigby ends up going down. Lost at 16, 17. Rampage for Haone, 7 under his belt. The aggression for Yasir, he takes the fight straight to Lost to take a gamble, but it did not pay off. The dice was rolled, but it was Lost that comes out on top. Booyah! Once more, 3 for Lost.
3 for Lost, and the boys have found dominance up on top, and Rahone has found the #1 Predator spot, kicking Russia into that 2nd position with his aggression. Grenade launcher for the win. These boys are launching themselves into the hearts of fans all across the world.
This is impressive. We know that Lost is impressive, but the spotlight is slowly shifting over to Dragons Esports. I think if this run continues, if they do make it, I dare to